So, you ever wonder how to create a garden that doesn't just survive, but actually thrives in our tough Aussie conditions? Well, today, we're going to get into it. We're diving deep into the world of the native garden. It's an amazing landscape, beautiful, tough as nails, and just packed with life. Let's dig in.
Yeah, think about that for a second. Engineered ecosystems. That's a really powerful way to put it. This isn't just about sticking a few local plants in the ground and hoping for the best. No, we're talking about creating a whole system. An ecosystem, really, that's designed from the ground up to survive. It's a total mindset shift when it comes to gardening. And the payoff? Oh, it's huge. I mean, you get these amazing-looking gardens all year round, and they become this buzzing little hub for all the local birds and insects. And the best part? You're doing it all with way less water and way less work. It's one of those investments that just keeps giving back.
So that's the million-dollar question, right? What does it actually take? Let's break it down, let's get into the how, and really figure out what makes these gardens tick.
Okay, first up, it really helps to get some context. There's been this huge kind of revolutionary shift in how we garden here in Australia. For the longest time, we were trying to copy those green, lush European gardens, which, let's be honest, doesn't always work here. Now, we're finally embracing our own amazing plants, and it's not just because they're beautiful, it's because we need that resilience to deal with our climate.
So, how do they pull it off? How do these plants survive? Well, they've got some pretty incredible tricks up their sleeves. Let's call them superpowers. These amazing adaptations that they've developed over millions of years to deal with all the heat, the drought, and the not-so-great soil.
All right, superpower number one is all about the leaves. The fancy word for it is sclerophyllous, but all that really means is tough, leathery leaves. You know the type. Think of those waxy coatings like a built-in sunscreen, bouncing the harsh sun away to keep the plant cool. And those tiny little hairs you sometimes see, they're brilliant. They trap a little bubble of humid air right against the leaf, which cuts way down on water loss. It's just genius, a completely natural water-saving system.
Superpower number two happens where you can't even see it, underground. We're talking about proteoid roots. Now, these things are incredible. They're like these dense, fuzzy mats of super fine roots, and they are absolute masters at sucking up nutrients from soil that seems to have, well, nothing in it. They're especially good at finding phosphorus. Now remember that, because it's going to be super important when we start talking about Banksias in a minute.
Okay, let's get to the plants. First up, let's meet the tough guy, the all-rounder, Callistemon. You probably know it as bottlebrush. Seriously, if you're just starting out with a native garden, this plant is your best friend. It is famously tough. It'll grow in pretty much any soil you throw at it, from heavy clay to sand, and wow, does it put on a show.
And the amazing thing is, there is literally a bottle brush for every single job in the garden. Need something small for a pot? There's Little John. Want a screen for that ugly fence? Slim is perfect for tight spaces. You can even get these big, beautiful weeping ones that make an incredible feature tree. They've got you covered. Okay, pro tip time. You want your bottle brush to be just loaded with flowers next year? Here's the secret. The moment it finishes flowering, you get out there and prune it. Just snip off about 2/3 of that old, spent flower head. What this does is it forces the plant to shoot out a whole bunch of new branches from just behind that cut. And what do more branches mean? Yep, way more flowers next season. It's that simple.
All right, let's switch gears and talk about our next character, the Banksia. I mean, what an icon, right? Absolutely stunning. But here's the thing. Where the bottle brush is easygoing and forgiving, the Banksia, well, it's more of a specialist. It's the sensitive superstar of the garden, and you've got to know its rules.
And rule number one is the big one. This is the absolute non-negotiable deal breaker if you want to grow a healthy Banksia. We need to talk about something called the phosphorus trap. Okay, remember those super efficient proteoid roots we mentioned earlier? Well, they are too good at their job. They're so good at scavenging for phosphorus that if you give them a regular off-the-shelf fertilizer, they basically overdose. It's toxic to them. So if you remember one thing about Banksias, make it this. Any fertilizer you use must have a phosphorus level under 2%. Seriously, check the label. It's that important.
Rule number two, and it's just as important, is drainage. Banksias cannot stand having soggy roots. They just hate it. Their roots are really prone to rotting from a nasty water mold, especially if you have heavy clay soil or live somewhere humid. So perfect drainage isn't just a nice to have, it is absolutely non-negotiable.
But look, if you can nail those two things, low phosphorus and great drainage, the world of Banksias opens up and it is incredible.
You've got these awesome dwarf ones like birthday candles that are perfect for pots, you've got giant ones for screening, and you've even got these amazing sprawling ground covers like roller coaster that will just take over a whole slope. So much variety.
So, let's just do a quick side-by-side. You've got the Callistemon, the tough-as-nails all-rounder that's super forgiving, and then you have the Banksia, the stunning but sensitive star that's really picky about its phosphorus and needs perfect drainage. Getting that basic difference is pretty much the key to having both of them thrive.
Okay, let's pull the camera back for a second. Let's think bigger picture. Because when you plant natives like these, you're not just, making your yard look pretty. You are actually building a small but incredibly important ecosystem right there in your backyard.
And who's on the guest list for this ecosystem party? Well, all the locals. The flowers on bottlebrush and Banksia are just magnets for nectar-loving birds like honeyeaters and lorikeets. Native bees and butterflies love them too. You're even providing a home for beneficial insects and tiny little critters like pygmy possums. Your garden basically becomes a 24/7 supermarket for all the local wildlife.
And check this out. This is such a cool fact. We always think it's bees and birds doing all the pollination, right? But it turns out tiny little mammals, especially the honey possum, are massive pollinators for a lot of Banksia species. They sneak out at night, feed on all that rich pollen and nectar, and in the process, they carry it from one flower to the next. It just shows you're tapping into this incredible, complex web of life.
And that really brings us to a final, big idea to chew on. When you get into native gardening, it kind of changes how you see things. It makes you ask this really important question. Are we gardening to try and control nature, to bend it to our will? Or are we gardening to understand how it works and to become a partner, a steward, helping it do its thing? It's a pretty powerful thought to take with you next time you head outside.